Okay, so let's get started. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our webinar on unlocking rapid process improvement with Microsoft AI. Today, we're going to talk about you can do custom solutions for your processes using Microsoft AI, okay, and how fast and easy it is to do that, and the different ways you have for doing it. Before we get started, just a quick housekeeping items, right? We are recording today's webinar, so you will get the recording tomorrow via email. We will also share the presentation, including relevant links. We will send you a survey. In fact, this survey is going to be posted pretty soon. You're going to see it in the chat. We really encourage you to take a few minutes, it's quick, to give us some feedback. It helps us improve our webinar series, right? And for us, it's very valuable. So we're really grateful if you do that. Feel free to ask any questions. We just ask you that you do that in writing in the chat. We will either reply in the chat itself or at the end. We're going to have a Q&A and we can address all the questions. We just do that so to make sure that we stay within the allotted time for our webinar. Okay. All right. So who's going to be here with you today? You can see us both here. I'm Angelo Dalle Molle. I am currently the CMO or the marketing manager for AlfaPeople, responsible for marketing all of our products in all of our geographies. I have been actually in this industry for quite long, 25 plus years, always with ERP, CRM software, and a big part of it working with Microsoft technologies in different positions. So yeah, I can say that I have some experience here. And we have Oliver. Oliver, you're going to present yourself.
Yeah, hi also from my side. My name is Oliver. I'm sitting in our German office. I'm a little bit younger than Angelo, but still have like a lot of experience with Microsoft services. And since the beginning of this year, I'm mainly focusing all around the AI topics of Microsoft. And yeah, I'm really happy to be in the position right now.
Oliver is going to be piloting our demos. So yeah, thank you, Oliver. Briefly, what we're going to be going through today. This is only a one hour webinar, so it's going to be brief, but we have a lot to cover. Just a brief introduction about the possibilities of AI, what Microsoft is providing us, right? Then we will see a couple of live examples of how this can be deployed. So you will see actual demos. And then we'll talk about use cases and how we can take the next steps together and how we could help you take the next steps with AI, especially with Microsoft AI. All right. Just one slide, who we are, right? If you're not familiar with AlfaPeople yet, yeah, AlfaPeople is dedicated to Microsoft solutions for businesses, right? We have been around for quite some time, 15 years. Initially working with Dynamics, right? ERP and CRM since the beginning. This has been our focus. Then it has developed into Power Platform because that's part of the overall solution, definitely. And Power Platform then brings new possibilities with low code, no code, the ability to develop specific solutions and custom scenarios, even independently of ERP and CRM or attached to your ERP and CRM. And now definitely AI is infusing all of this, all of the solutions that we work with. So we have been dedicating a lot of time and effort to be sure that we are in the forefront with Microsoft AI. Right? So now we are present in 14 different countries. We are more than 630 people around the world. And out of those, more than 450 have Microsoft certifications. Okay. The interesting thing here is that even with our broad presence spread around many offices, we can always get the best resources because we work primarily remote. Right. This has been a decision that we made since the beginning. Before before the pandemic, we started working very heavily remotely to give freedom to our employees to work from wherever they want, and also to have significant advantages to our customers, right? It's easier to staff a project, and you can get an expert. If I have one expert in one country, this expert is available for everybody, right? So we saw those benefits from the beginning, and we really invested in that. Today we have more than 500 active customers, and with all that, the recognition from Microsoft has come. The high recognition is the Inner Circle, which is given every year for the top partners in Microsoft solutions for businesses. And we have been recognized with that for the past 14 years. Talking about Microsoft, Microsoft is investing a lot in AI and in our area in general. And one interesting thing that they did is that they separated a big part of this investment from marketing instead of doing advertising to help partners, help customers and prospects evaluate and use better the technology, right? So they have investments that are directed towards us, towards partners like us, to help our customers understand what the technology is and deploy it better. This is what they call partner activities. And so if we have the right scenario, they will invest on us. They will give us money just for you to try and understand and do a POC or do an assessment, right? So we have this possibility of doing interesting things with this, and we're going to talk more about this at the end of the webinar, about how we can apply that to our specific scenario here on AI adoption, okay? All right, so our way of seeing AI, okay? So let's start there. First, just to give some, some framework. Everybody knows, right, that the new technologies that are being released in the market, they're being faster and faster to be adopted, right? In this graph, we see current new technologies as they were launched, how long it took for them to reach 100 million users. And we see it's a decreasing curve, right? The latest one here, TikTok, took just under a year to reach 100 million users. Do you guys know how long it took ChatGPT to reach 100 million users? 2 months. Yeah, 2 months. So why, right? Why this interest? Why everybody started using ChatGPT? And yeah, we know, right? Everybody knows, because I assume that everybody here has used ChatGPT or something similar. Everybody's using it, right? What changed? Well, basically, in a nutshell, right? AI technologies were available already for quite some time, were being studied, were being deployed. Many companies were using AI already. People were talking about AI, but not massively. What changes, it has become available for everybody. So it's an excellent technology that all of a sudden is available for everybody. With the big computational power from the cloud, right? It has become available. Right? So now, when we look at the applications in business, right? And I don't think there's anything here in this slide that you're not familiar with, right? Everything here are things that have been around for quite some time and have been used in large companies. They were expensive. They took very specialized people to deploy. So only big companies had access to this. Now it's accessible to everybody. And actually, Microsoft is playing an important role in making these type of solutions accessible for everybody. And we'll see today why. They have democratized AI. I mean, they are doing that in a way that is really impressive. Okay. When we look at the AI technology in general, but specifically and very particularly Microsoft technology within AI, we ourselves, AlfaPeople, we also to help us in our development, we categorize this in 3 different buckets. Okay. The first one is ready to use AI. So it takes almost no time to start using it. You just turn it on or configure it, and you start using it, right? And it's ready to use. So actually, it may not be too customized for your specific processes. It will help you in some things, many things. Sometimes it will be a big productivity buster. In this category, we have the copilots, right? You also heard about copilots before. Microsoft copilots are basically assistants that are powered by AI to look at data and talk to the user in natural language, right? So you make a question, it looks at your data, and it gives you an answer, a suggestion. Sometimes it may even perform a process for you. But all this is ready and developed by Microsoft and given to you. There are different copilots because they work in different contexts, right? So you have the Microsoft 365 Copilot, which works for Office documents. Is going to look at your documents and work with them and even prepare documents for you, like presentations, etc. Extremely powerful. There's Copilot for Sales, which is directed towards a sales organization to optimize the performance of your sales team, and so forth and so on, right? We're not focusing on copilots today. We talked about this in our previous webinar. You can look at it in a website or in a YouTube channel, or talk to us. I mean, we'll be glad to share with you all information you need regarding the copilots. They're very powerful. We need to look at them. You need to look at them, probably, and you'll be pleased with what you see. But they are what they are, right? There's a little exception. We'll treat it shortly. Then we have low code, no code. Low code, no code, the Power Platform from Microsoft, right, is a way for you to develop specific processes, right, your own processes, without needing a lot of intervention, or maybe no intervention from a developer. Okay, so you can develop solutions for your specific processes, right, using Power Platform. AI is available in Power Platform. That's what we're going to concentrate today a lot. That means that you can develop specific process for your own custom scenario using AI with low code, no code. This is really powerful, okay? And then if you need to do something very specific for your scenario, you need a specific algorithm that needs to be developed from the ground up. We also have all the technology within the Microsoft stack, right? So that would be the advanced codification. We can do whatever you want with advanced codification, okay? So quickly looking at the AI capabilities within low code, no code. So things that you can do to customize your processes and infuse AI within your process without having to develop AI from the ground up, okay? Well, first of all, we talked about copilots. Yeah, there is a tool to customize your copilots, or even to create your own copilot, which means a chatbot, right? A conversational bot that you can talk in natural language, and it will look at data, analyze the data, and give you an answer. So if it's an existing copilot, you can open it and add additional intelligence to it, like looking at specific data and treating it in a certain way. We're even going to show you how you do that. Or even create your own copilot using Copilot Studio. You can create a new chatbot that looks at your data, the data that you want, internal or external to your company, and reacts to it, okay? Then we have now talking about the Power Platform, right? If you're not familiar, Power Apps is the tool where you develop apps, right? Where you develop solutions with interfaces, right? User interfaces like screens, which are adaptable to be used in a handheld, right? So you have apps treating data and working with users, right? So within Power Apps, you also have AI. You have a copilot within Power Apps to help you develop your application. So you can talk in natural language. It will develop bits and parts of your application, right? It will give you ideas as you evolve in the development of this application, the different screens and flows. And you can even have an express design. That's a cool feature. You can design something, do a draft, really literally napkin drawing, show it to your computer, and it will give you the screens in the way that it interprets your drawing, right? So as a quick start for your development of your app. Power Automate is kind of the middleware. It gets data from one source, and it delivers data to another output, or maybe to the same place where you got the data from, and it can work that data in the process, right? It's all drag and drop. So you can see here, it's like blocks, and you drag, drop blocks, and you design the way you want to treat that flow. It's very powerful, easy to use, and mostly no code necessary unless you need to do something really advanced, right? Otherwise, almost everything you do is drag and drop, and it has connectors to more than 1,000 different tools. So you can integrate your SAP to an Excel file. Within Power Automate, you also have a Copilot where you can explain what you want, and it's going to generate the flow for you, right? With natural language. That's extremely powerful. Then we have Power Pages, which is the tool for generating website pages, okay? It's also fully integrated to the data platform, to Power Automate, to Power Apps. So it's a very efficient way to deliver website pages, be it for internal use, be it for external use, right? It has native integration with Copilot Studio, right? So you can integrate to your chatbots. So it's really, really powerful too. Right, and finally, there's a component called AI Builder. Well, AI Builder is a tool that connects to the Power Platform, allowing you to infuse AI in the processes, right? So for instance, you are in the middle of Power Automate and you want to interpret a text, it will call a ChatGPT model, a GPT model, to interpret that text and, for instance, give you sentiment analysis. Anything you may think, like text recognition, voice recognition, I don't know, anything you may think in terms of AI, you can infuse into your flows using Power Platform, using AI Builder within the Power Platform, right? There are models which are ready for you to use, or you can build your model, right? But it is extremely powerful for developing custom scenarios for your processes, infusing AI in those scenarios. So you already have systems working, you want to infuse AI within the process, you can connect Power Automate, for instance, within that flow and treat the data with AI. It's very, very powerful, right? Okay, so with that, I hand it over to Oliver, who's going to show us a little bit about those things that I talked and show you that they're really not a dream, they're true. Right.
Okay, thanks for the smooth handover, Angelo, and hi to the attendances again, also from my side. The first use case we're going to see together is that the normal Copilot is also having its limits, especially regarding some internal metrics where the data lies inside of the internal business systems. And therefore, we're going to see how Copilot Studio can be easily integrated and what amazing capabilities it delivers. So what we are going to see that the user asks for some specific supplier metrics inside of Microsoft Teams, and the data actually lies inside of the ERP system. And there are two different things we're going to see in this process. First of all, without the use of Copilot Studio, the Microsoft 365 Copilot search fails, and basically our end user doesn't get the response he wanted to get about those specific supplier metrics. And on the other side, we're going to see the use of the Copilot Studio, how it's having the capabilities to do the search inside of the ERP system. And in the end, our user is going to get the response he actually wanted, and he's going to be satisfied. So let's just hop right into Microsoft Teams and start. So if we take a look what I'm going to do inside of the chat experience, I'm going to ask the Copilot about a specific problem I'm working on. What are the lead times for the supplier Alpine ski house? But basically the response isn't what we are looking for. You can see that it says it cannot find the information that's relevant to me. And that's because out of the box, Copilot doesn't know information about the supply chain and the system that is used to run our supply chain. But what's great about it, that there's the extensibility story of Microsoft Copilot. And if we take a look right here, we can use plugins, and we can see that there's the option to use Microsoft Copilot Studio in order to create our own extensions and my own logic and data source inside of Microsoft Copilot. So if we click right on Microsoft Copilot Studio, I can see that Copilot Studio shows all kinds of different options for plugins and for tasks and for more. We are going to create what's called a conversational plugin. A conversational plugin allows us to chain together multiple steps like data lookup or text summarization in order to provide a reply. And I can use this conversational plugin from inside of Microsoft Copilot via Teams. So we're going to click, I'm going to create one inside this experience right here. This is what's called the Copilot Studio, and this is how I go about creating all the steps inside of my conversational plugin. If we have a look here at the trigger, we can see that it provides information about what the conversational plugin is going to do. And the information is useful because it's registered back with Microsoft Copilot. So it will only invoke my extension in Copilot Studio when a user asks the relevant question. This conversational plugin is going to be used whenever an employee is asking a question about supplier metrics and performance, in this case, by any topic you can imagine. Just describe it in natural language. Now the step will run in response to a question from an end user, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create what's called a generative answer. A generative answer allows me to go from existing knowledge, resources, and content that I specifically create and choose to have a reply inside of Microsoft Copilot. I'll just go ahead and select this right now. And what generative answer provide is a simple experience where I can configure particular websites or SharePoint sites. Or I can even configure Azure OpenAI services where I pull the information to reply back to the user. So as you can see here, you can also connect to what you configure in Azure AI Search if you're sharing the data across, let's say, lots of Copilots. In my case, I could simply configure it just to use public supplier website. But I want to use an internal SharePoint site where documents about my suppliers are collected. To do that, I'm going to link to a specific document in the SharePoint site. And now I can query data in a secure, compliant way and integrate it inside of my Copilot. And here you can see right now that I'm linking to a document with the supplier metrics, which is about 20 pages. Now what I've done is I've configured the link to the SharePoint site. So I just pass in the text, so the information that the user puts out of Microsoft Copilot. Now when we go back and ask the same question as earlier, I'm getting information tailored to my company from that SharePoint site very easily. But as we can see, there's just the response that the order placement is about 10 days, and this is not enough because our document is still static and it shows the product list and information as it was posted in the document, let's say maybe 1 or 1 month before. Now I've built this topic and I can publish it back to the Microsoft Copilot, and I can use it inside of Microsoft Copilot and ask question and get back an answer because I've configured that experience inside of Copilot Studio. But we want to be able to look up information from suppliers in real time, and we can do that with Copilot Studio too. So we go back here to Copilot Studio and we are going to create a new conversational plugin. And just like before, I'm going to configure a trigger where employee asks about supplier metrics and about the performance. I want to go to my SAP system where I can see here, I can choose an action call out to SAP and I execute functions to do real-time data queries, pulling from my SAP backend because my information isn't always in the website, it's not always on Azure, or it's not always inside of Microsoft 365. So sometimes the information I care about is going to be inside of SAP or let's say another business systems. In fact, Microsoft, we have over 1,100 data connectors available to be used inside of Copilot Studio. The connectors play a pivotal role in facilitating seamless integration and data flow across a wide array of external systems, databases, cloud services, including Azure SQL database, Azure Logic apps on premises, or cloud-based SQL server databases, and many more. That's why in this particular case, we chose to show a provider who is not Microsoft, even though Microsoft Dynamics 365 is for sure one of our core businesses. Now I've chosen that to read the SAP information and I resolve the connection. And that could work on premise or in the cloud. Then I just do a simple configuration to select the table command that I want to execute to read from my supplier history data table, which will use the context that the user provided inside of the Copilot chat to look up the relevant information. But doing that is again not enough. I also want to take that information from earlier and use it to make another call to another system. And to do that, I have to use a customized connector that I've just registered. The customized connector is available as just a RESTful API that I've already published in Azure before. You can easily expose an API from any of those and call it using this API connector, and this can be behind Azure API Management or anywhere else. I can just invoke it to look up real-time information about supplier quality metrics. This is chained after that SAP call, so when I execute the step, basically in response to the message from the user in Microsoft Copilot, I'm calling SAP and then making a call to an internal system. But I don't want to just return this raw data. I actually want to generate a synthesized response across these two systems in order to reply back to the user. And to do that, I'm going to use a customized generative response. So I just pass in the information from the supplier quality metrics right here. And I create a summary of the information really easily and reply back to the user. And what's great, as you can see, I'm giving instructions. These are prompts that I'm providing to the generative AI model in addition to the information from the supplier quality metrics API to generate this response. Now that I've configured that, I'm just going to go back up here in the right hand corner and I'm going to publish it to Microsoft Copilot. So I published it and now I go back to the Copilot chat inside of Microsoft Teams. And once again, as you know, we're going to ask about those lead times with the supplier Alpen Ski House. And we get back a reply. And when we take a look at this, you can see an incredible amount of information. It's telling me that Alpen Ski House delivers products within 10 days. This information we had already before. But we also get this incredible information that also over the past 6 months, they've maintained an on-time delivery rate of 86% of our orders. So to summarize it, this is not from a public website. This is not available inside of Microsoft 365. This is not available inside of the foundation model itself. I have had to go out and build this integration using Copilot Studio. And what this shows is the incredible ability to use Azure, to use Copilot Studio, to use your existing APIs and data sources to enrich Microsoft, Copilot, and all. This comes together in a seamless, integrated end-to-end experience. So after we were seeing this first demo, let's jump right to a second one. And what we're going to see here is basically document analytics paired together with process automation. And there are some capabilities of the Power Platform used, which Angelo was already presenting before. we're going to show and see the amazing capabilities of the AI Builder paired together with Power Apps and Power Automate. So we're going to introduce a streamlined solution of document analytics and process automation for a really easy case where we're going to digitalize and automate HR processes. So first of all, what we're going to have is a document scanning where our HR employees get the possibilities to scan HR documents via a Power App, and therefore they have the capability with the Power App to just upload it from the device or use the camera functionality to scan it with the camera. In the second step, then we use the document classification of the AI Builder. So the AI Builder classifies the documents and extracts the relevant information. The AI Builder uses machine learning algorithms to learn from your labeled text items and classify new unstructured data. The nice thing about it is that behind of the AI Builder lays a feedback loop. So basically it's a storage, and when we handle this processes multiple times, they're going to be stored the documents, and afterwards I have the possibility with it to improve our AI model with the data we were using and training our AI model once again for making the model quality even better. Behind of this process lies a Power Automate flow, which is basically getting triggered when the documents get scanned with our Power App. And what the Power Automate flow is doing then, it's screening our SharePoint and taking a look if there already a folder existing of our employee or not. If there's not an existing folder of an employee, what the SharePoint is going to do, the Power Automate flow is going to do, it takes the extracted data from the Power Automate flow, creates a folder with the specific employee name, creates another folder with the specific document type, and last but not least, it annexes the specific document inside of the document type folder. On the other hand, if there is already an employee folder existing, it's basically doing the same. It's screening if there's already a document folder existing, and if it's existing, it's just annexing the document. And if the document folder so far is not existing for the specific document type, it's going to create it and just dropping it right over there. Okay, then let's also have a look about the specific demo here. So first of all, what we're going to see, what we're going to have a look together on is about the AI Builder, how easily it's working, and how easy we basically have the capability right here to create our own AI model. So in the first step, we have the possibility to select 3 different document types. We have the possibility to use like a fixed template, what is basically known as structured data. So when we see like the examples right here, we see that they come in a structured form. Then we have a general document, what is basically an unstructured document. And last but not least, we also have directly the possibility to use invoices as our document type. In the second step, then, we give our AI model the information which entities have to be extracted. So we just can basically click here, choose which type we want to have. So if it's like a text file, number file, date file, a checkbox, and then we give the specific information, what type of data we want to extract. In our case here, it's the employee name and the document type. Then we go on. In the third step, we basically add the collection of our documents. What is here important to say that for an initial training of the AI model, you need of one document type, at least 5 documents. This one we were working out in our German office right now, so sorry that it's in German. But as you can see here, that for each document type, we were using 15 documents because as AI is working in general, the more input it has, the better is the output. Then in the fourth step, you basically go in your collections, and you have to easily tag then the text fields which have to be classified. So basically, you just can go here and tag this specific type. In our case, we tagged already all the documents, so we can see here document type, and we can see here who is the specific employee name. And it's important that you have a check on each of the documents, otherwise it's not letting you to the last step. Let's say, for an example, that on a specific document right here is the employee name not existing. Then I easily have the possibility with right click going here and saying not available in document, because as I was saying, the AI model needs the information about all of the text fields. Right. And basically, after this is done, I then have the possibility to train our model. When we finish it, it looks basically then like this. This is for another solution we created. It's way more complex. As you can see, there are way more information, text fields we are extracting. We can see that the accuracy score in general is 95%, which is pretty good. On some of them, for an example here, 56% is just giving us the information that we should use more document where the specific text item is inside, that our AI model improves more and more, because on this specific one, just in 56% of the cases, it was existing in the documents. Exactly. So then let's just have a look how it's working. This is our Power App. We're going to see it right now from our browser, and we basically just going to annex here the document and submit it. If you would use this Power App with your mobile device, then it would be pretty easy to also use the camera functionality. But because I'm handling this process right now out of with my PC, I don't have the possibility to use the camera functionality. And this is the document we were basically giving to our AI model right now. It's a settlement of gross net remuneration. And what right now the AI model has to classify is, first of all, here the document type. And in the second step, really important, it has to screen the document and has to find out who is the specific employee. In this case, it would be Benjamin Brewer, who is this specific employee. Exactly. So then let's have a look here. This is how our SharePoint site is looking like. We created it really easily. So basically what we can see that we have like one folder for the drop-off of the document. So after the screening, the document gets dropped here. And in the next step, then it's going to be pushed to the HR portal. Here we have an overview of our flow. And when we see it, we see that right now the flow was succeeded. So we go back to our SharePoint. We go inside of the HR portal. Let me refresh it. And we're going to see, right here, the AI model classified correctly the employee name, Benjamin Brewer. It's created inside of the HR portal. It classified the Benjamin Brewer and created the specific folder of Benjamin Brewer. It's created as well correctly the folder for the specific document type. And if we go in here, we can see also that the specific document was annexed. Right. So let's just go right back to our PowerPoint for summarizing what we saw. And then I will hand over to Angelo for finishing the presentation.
Just a quick question, Oliver. For developing these demos that you showed us, did you have to write any line of code?
That's the nice thing in general about the Power Platform, about the low and no code solutions in this case, because we were creating really easy demos for presenting it for easy understanding. There is no coding in general needed. If we are working on some more complex solutions. Obviously, there might be coding needed, but therefore we also have our qualified coders who can then help out with this. But basically, as already the name of the Power Platform is saying, with low and no code, it isn't meant to be using coding skills.
Right.
So let's have a short summary about the document analytics and process automation we just saw. By leveraging AI and automation, we eliminate manual data entry and processing significantly, reducing time and effort. This allows us to your team to focus on more strategic tasks, boosting overall productivity. Our AI builder ensures precise document classification and data extraction, minimizing errors and discrepancies that are common in manual processes. This leads to a more reliable and consistent data management. The automated processes can effortlessly scale to handle increasing volumes of document as your organization grows, whether it's invoices, contracts, support tickets, assembly lists, or solution adapts in general to your needs. With automated workflows and secure storage, you can easily adhere to regulatory requirements and ensure that your documents are managed in compliance with legal standards. This reduces the risk of non-compliance and potential penalties. Storing documents in a digital format on platforms like, for example, SharePoint, as we saw, or directly in your business system, ensures that they are easily accessible to authorized personnel, while robust security measures protect sensitive information from unauthorized access. So, in our demo, we saw HR documents can be digitalized, classified using AI, and efficiently stored in a SharePoint list. This process not only speeds up handling, but also ensures accuracy and compliance. Huge amount of use cases, especially more complex ones, where we have the capability for connecting with business systems are possible. And this one, as I said it already multiple times, was used and showed specifically because of the understanding for the technology behind of it. In general, other use cases might be invoice processing for accounts payable, so streamlining invoice data entry, reducing errors, and accelerate approvals. Another one would be about contract management, for an example, managing larger volumes of contracts, track renewals, and ensure compliance. And last but not least, for an example, legal document management for organizing them securely and automating compliance checks. As I was saying, there are a bunch of capabilities we're having with those solutions. So just feel free and contact us. Last but not least, by adopting document analytics and process automation, you can streamline your operations, improve data integrity, and achieve greater operational efficiency. This transformation is essential for staying competitive in today's fast-paced business environment. And with this said, I'm handing over back to you, Angelo.
All right. Thanks a lot, Oliver. Excellent. Okay, since you talked about use cases, right? Get control here. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about use cases. As you will see, and you've probably seen it already in the market, more and more companies are adopting AI in their processes, right? We think really that for all companies, it's not a matter of whether you're going to use AI, it's a matter of when, and probably the sooner the better. So yeah, for AlfaPeople, for us to accelerate our entry into AI and to infuse AI in our processes, we have partnered with a specialized company, 1500, whom has been working with AI solutions for large and small companies for quite some time already. So here we're going to present a couple of use cases, real use cases from real companies. Okay. So first, Copilot for sales Copilot. This is actually not the Microsoft Sales Copilot, but just to exemplify how we can do a lot more than just natural language analytics within a Sales Copilot. So yeah, it does what the Sales Copilot, we do what the Sales Copilot do in this company. It's a chemical company. And we use it AI to prioritize opportunities, plan visits, record results, etc. But then we also analyze the collected data and to identify the best practices, right? The approaches that were done, etc., and then use that as networked learning process. And with that, we suggest actions to the sellers. And with those suggestions, with those changes in processes, we were able to increase sales results, better contribution margin, and cross sales. The focus was more on cross sales, so that increased the contribution margin. The typical service scenario, right? We know about Copilot for Service, which automates a lot of the tasks within a customer service scenario. This case was done in a large telecom company. Basically, the work here was much more on building the proper infrastructure for a chatbot, for an AI chatbot, when you have huge volumes, right? So we also can work making sure that you are adopting AI when you have very big volumes. This is an interesting case on image processing, right? So it's a fashion retailer. We have cameras in the shop floor identifying customers' reactions to products, displays, and promos. Right? With that, we capture the sentiment of the people as they walk in the shop, and then classify that, analyze that based on demographics. So we don't keep specific information regarding the people, right, that are in the shop, but demographics, and see how the different demographics react to products, to product displays, or to promos, right? And that can guide optimization in the communication and merchandising in the store. Yeah, document handling, process automation, as we saw the example from Oliver. Okay, this is a case in a legal office. It's a legal office that processes visa requests for entry into USA. The paralegals, they gather all the documentation from the customers, submit it to the AI, and the AI will prepare the forms and analyze that to identify potential issues or potential points where the lawyers really need to go deeper into, right? Otherwise, it automates the processing. As a result of this AI solution, they have basically doubled the output per paralegal. That was a very interesting case, sure. The typical HR chatbot, okay, in this case, it was an agri-science company, but we are implementing this internally at AlfaPeople too. It's basically a chatbot that uses AI to talk in natural language with your own employees, and they can query about different things from HR, and they can also perform some activities such as booking a vacation, right? This leads to reduced human intervention, and the customer satisfaction also grows because of the quicker turnaround, so your employees get more satisfied with what you're doing. All right. In this particular case, the solution has developed into a personal development app. That's an interesting thing. So we have an app that the employee actually in this is a slightly different scenarios. Now that I remember, it's a consulting and development IT company. They have an app where they can monitor with the company, but it helps them identify areas for improvement for improving their own productivity and performance. Okay, and that has really led to recognizable improvements in productivity. Something we call corporate learning, and this is a car service center, a repair shop, right? The application was implemented in the call center, which is a sales call center. So they call previous customers or new customers to sell their services. Well, it monitors and records and analyzes all the voice conversations, transforms them in actual data, right? And based on the conversations, it measures the best approach based on the demographics, products, and the sales approaches, to learn from it and provide suggestions on how the company can change its approaches and learn from what they're doing, right? This is what we call corporate learning using AI. The typical predictive maintenance scenario, in this case, it's a beer production plant. They have installed all the sensors to monitor the must cooling process. Right? So they monitor the parameters, and then there's an algorithm that evaluates what's the best stop times for maintenance of the equipment to maintain best productivity and to reduce costs in energy and water consumption. Okay. Image processing. This is an agri-science company. They sell seeds. They produce seeds. They have specialized seeds and sell seeds to farmers. So what they did is using aerial photos. They analyze the area of the farms to identify what are the crops and what is the size of the plant area, right? The crop production there in that farm. And with that, extrapolate what is the potential for sales for that particular customer. That led to a better prioritization of the sales effort and definitely to better results. So you see, it's all different sorts of capabilities that we have in AI that we put together to adjust to the specific scenario of each one. Software engineering, this is also a very known scenario. We have, for instance, Copilot for GitHub from Microsoft, which accelerates software development by generating code. You tell what you want, and it will generate bunches of code within your program, right? But here we go a little beyond. We also use AI to assist in the design and in the testing processes. Right? This was for a government agency for their internal software development process, and it has increased significantly the time to market, I mean, the time to deliver the software to their internal customers, quality and satisfaction. Right. So one thing about important to mention, there was even a question here in the chat. Microsoft is investing a lot in AI and is really pushing the envelope. We're really seeing a lot coming through. But there is a whole group there, a big group, really concerned about all these soft concerns that we have around AI, right? Ethical concerns, like the bias that AI may have, and particular and most importantly, the data concerns, right? So the first thing that you need to understand is if you get one of your documents and submit to ChatGPT in OpenAI, they're going to use that information to train the model. So your information becomes public, right? So this is the first concern that they had when they developed their copilots and their AI technology. Your information is your data. It's not made available for training models or for anything. It stays where it is. And it allows you to then, with the model, mesh your information with information from outside, from websites or other information. So in that sense, it's powerful, and at the same time, it protects your data very, very comprehensively. Then typically, you will use APIs to interact with your sensible data. So the APIs will typically take care of the security models that you have within your company, right? So data consumption within the company is protected through your own APIs. I can tell you, for instance, with Dynamics, when you interact with the data, regardless of how you do it, if it's via Copilot, whatever, it will always respect your security protocols, right? So it's important, and they put a lot of effort into making sure that it's taken care of. Okay, all right. So now let's wrap up talking a little bit about how can we help you. If you're interested in learning more about Microsoft AI, right? So we have two offers that we are in the market with, depending on where you are in your process, right? If you are starting your process, okay, and if you are new to AI, and you want to learn more, and you want to also explore where AI could help you get the best out of it, we have an 8-hour workshop, which is actually not a 1 day. It's 2 4-hour time periods. We prefer to break it so you have time to think between the first half and the second half, where we will present you use cases, present you the technology, and discuss with you how that technology can adapt to your needs, right? So we will identify the specific use cases that are the best for you to implement or to get started, right? We'll do this through design thinking exercise, and we will prioritize them with you so that we can end this exercise with a definition of a sequence or maybe a couple of initial use cases to start deploying AI in your organization, okay? So this can be a very good kickstart for deploying AI within your company. Then we have a second offer, which is a smaller offer for people which are already adopting or in their journey, but want to try and see how it will be to implement the process with Microsoft AI. So this is kind of a 4-hour process, maybe only 2-hour workshop, and more we do in-house, where we get one of your processes, right? So you submit, you say, look, I know that this process I can gain using AI. You already know a little bit about how, and we will develop a blueprint on how to implement that process or how to implement AI within that process to optimize it using Microsoft AI, okay? Remember we talked about Microsoft investments. Yeah, these 2 workshops, they have a cost, naturally, but part of this cost, or maybe even the full cost, might be covered with these investments from Microsoft. So if you're interested, let us know and we can submit the case, right? So first, tell us you're interested. Let's discuss a little bit what's the situation, and we can submit the case to Microsoft and see whether we can have that Microsoft cover that cost or part of it. Otherwise, talk to us. We'll discuss. Cost is definitely low for the value that we are providing. I think it's a very good value processes that we have here, and let's make it viable. Yeah. Key takeaways. Well, infusing AI in your business processes is already happening, right? And it will provide competitive advantage to whoever does it first or better, right? Microsoft has probably the best stack of technology to do that in the market. I mean, we really believe that. It's not because we work with it, but we can see the traction. We can see the traction. You can see the Microsoft stock prices, for instance. That's a very good indication of how we are really in the forefront of AI. And we at AlfaPeople, we're prepared to help you in this journey, right? So just reach out and let's talk. So remember to fill out the survey, okay? And indicate if you're interested in one of our workshops so we can continue this dialogue. Actually, if we want to continue the dialogue independently of the workshop, let us know, reach out, and we'll continue to talk, okay?